Yeah, 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 I love the smile in your face. I know that you got what it takes. Plus you working, ain't no breaks, yeah. You got that vibe, mama, you already know, yeah. This is the Darling Talk Show. Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Darling Talk Show Season 3, baby. Oh my God. First of all, y'all, I'm so excited to be here today because we have an amazing guest. And a lot has happened. A lot has changed since the first time. I mean, the last time I recorded a video. I'm super excited because, as you guys can tell, literally a lot has changed. New look. You know, I got the locks. I mean, it's just going to be a great season. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, I'm going to tell you guys who the guest is. Guess who it is? We have Genesis Evans. Actually, no, she's not Evans anymore. She's Martinez because she's a wife. So we have Genesis. Hey, boo, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time.
Me.
It's going to be a great conversation. I really wanted you to come because I mean we do have a lot of history. I don't think a lot of people don't know, a lot of people do, but we do have a lot of history. And first, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you?
Yes.
And when you do this, let's not focus so much on what you do, but who you are. Who is Genesis?
Okay. Yeah. Genesis is an amazing person. She is former Miss Honduras Houston. She is a businesswoman, a wife, a mother. And most importantly, I'm a woman of God. Okay.
Amen.
And so I come with a lot. I have a lot to offer. And so I'm just a badass chick. I'm sorry.
I know that's right. No, be yourself, honey. Okay. Be you. I love that. That was a good introduction. So first, before we get into the conversation, we're going to toast. Every episode, this has been the signature of the show. We introduce a new wine. So we're going to be talking while we're sipping on this wine. It is Pinot Grigio. You guys I love me some dry wine, okay? So I'm going to be, this has 13.5% of alcohol.
Okay, it's high.
We love that, okay? So we're going to be toasting. And I know you did say you like dry wine as well, so that's a good thing. Let's see. So let me go ahead and pour this. One thing about the wine is going to make you talk, honey.
So they say.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to do a toast.
Okay, before we toast, Alexa, I'm a wine connoisseur. And so you're holding the glass wrong. You're making it hot. You're changing the flavor, sweetie.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And so you hold it from the stem to not change the flavor and not change the temperature.
Listen, I knew that, but I love holding my wine like that.
It's a vibe. It's a look, too.
Thank you. And you know I'm all about aesthetics, and I like to look, a little elevated sometimes. So, but you're right. You're absolutely right about that. It smells good. Yeah, so let's toast to it real quick. Do you want to toast or you want me to toast?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to toast to a good conversation, you being on the show, the fact that we haven't had a conversation like this in years. So cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Oh, it's so good.
It is good.
It's dry, and it has a little hint of like
it has good
sweetness
aromas
in it. A little bit. But it's not too sweet. But it kind of like balances it out a little bit.
I can definitely taste the grapes in here. It tastes good.
All right, girl. So let's get to this. You already introduced yourself. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about how we met. Me and Genesis met back in 20... Ooh. When did I move here? I moved here in 2010. So I think I met you 2011 or 2012.
I will say 2011.
Right?
Because when I met you, I don't even think you spoke English yet.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, wow, girl,
we go way back.
That's crazy. So yeah, we definitely met around that time because of family, right? So, y'all, the topic of today, as you already seen the title, we're talking about marriage, being married young, and all the things and the ins and out of it. So, I actually met my ex-husband through Genesis. Shout outs to you, girl. That was funny.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So, I mean, it's not a bad thing. You know, I think that that was your role, and I think it did what it's supposed to do, right? So I think I was like 16 years old when that happened.
Were you?
Yeah, I was around 16. I met him 2 years after I moved to the States. And then, yeah, a lot changed, a lot happened. But then, we got married, we got divorced, and now we're here. So I really wanted to have this conversation with you because I know that you're a mom, you're a wife, you recently got married. How long has it been since you got married?
It'll be 3 years in June.
That's insane. Time goes by fast.
It does.
Like, you really don't realize how fast time, like, just to think about the fact that we were teenagers and now we're grown women having this conversation is crazy. So I want to ask you, like, how is life now for you how did life change for you when you got married? And how did life change for you when you became a mom?
Okay, so I'm going to take it way back to when we got together. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a former Miss Hunters Houston, right? And so with that came a lot of things after and a lot of accomplishments after. I traveled the world. I've gone places that people twice my age have never even seen or thought about. And so he was along that ride. And so Angel and I grew up together. Or I grew up with him. Oh, no, I'll say that. We grew up together. And so I said that to give you the history was that when he proposed to me, I was barely 20. And I said yes, but when I think back on it, I'm not sure if we were ready. And so what a lot of people don't know is that we were engaged for about 5 years, but in that engagement, there was a separation. And we had to separate. That was God doing because we had to learn each other from who we were in that moment. Like I wasn't 16 anymore and he wasn't 19 anymore.
Yeah, because you changed. You're constantly evolving, changing, growing.
Right.
And sometimes when that is happening, that can create some type of like issue in the relationship.
Right.
Or shift, right?
Right. It's a shift. It's definitely a shift because you're not who you were when you were 16. Who I was when I was 16, when I was 21, and now that I'm 26, it's three different completely people.
Yeah.
And so we had to learn each other again from that perspective. And so when we got married for with God. God was the center of our entire marriage. And we made that very clear from when we said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're really gonna do this. This is how we're gonna do it. And so life didn't really change because the expectations were already set. Like
That's good.
when we got back together after our separation, we made each other very clear, like, this is what we're going to tolerate. This is what we're not going to tolerate. This is what our marriage should look like. And with God's covenant over us, this is what's going to happen.
That's
and
good.
So thankfully we're now together 9 years.
Oh,
and life, it was interesting.
The interesting word about the word change is that it's not always a bad thing, right?
Right.
So change can also be a good thing. So when that separation happened between you guys, I'm pretty sure that maybe things changed for the better for y'all, right?
Yes.
You guys maybe had a lot of, sometimes separation works. And maybe I tried it before myself. When me and my ex-husband separated before, it didn't work. So I think that as long as the other person, this is why I'm very big on alignment, right? You need to be with somebody that you are aligned with,
right?
Because if you don't align with that person you're with, it's not gonna work.
Right.
Whether you separate yourself from that person or not, you gotta be in alignment somewhere there. So I think that is very important. So I'm really happy that you guys were able to come back together after separation and still work it out. Yeah, now you have a beautiful baby.
Thank you.
I mean, even that, I know that was a struggle for you. We had a short conversation at the Daddy from Aerobics class, the last one, and you mentioned a little bit of that to me. So I want you to, I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But if you want to share with the audience your story about your mom, the mom life.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows. I think, and this is why I like this. I love my talk show because a lot of times people see us and they don't even understand what we go through. We look so good on camera. We look, and let me tell you something. I can take this makeup off right now and I'm gonna be always myself, and I like transparency because you never know who you can help.
Exactly.
With your story.
Right.
Your story can change so many people, and sometimes we don't even believe. We're like, no, I don't want people to know my business, and maybe I'll tell you all my business. Okay, I'll tell you all my business because I need you to know how God has.
Oh, come on.
What? Come on. So you have the floor.
No, yeah, definitely. And so very much like you. It's just that I chose to remove myself from the spotlight for a little bit. But I tell it all, honey. You sit down and talk to me. I'm like, yeah, I did this and I did that, girl. But when it came to my son, Ezra, so Angel and I knew that we wanted a family. We just didn't know when. And I'm very career and goal driven. It's no secret. I am a go-getter, period, point blank. Like, my mom raised me to be that girl.
Right.
And so I went to doctor one day, and there were some complications with me personally. And she's like, well, I think you have endometriosis. And for people that don't know that, what that means is basically there's an unalignment to your uterus. If you know, in order to carry a child, your uterus has to be functioning. Right. And so I went to a second doctor. She told me the same thing. I went to a third doctor. She told me the same thing. And I was like, well, godly, what do we do now? And so it became a battle of like, what's more important? Is my career more important? Because I was on the top of my career. Let me tell you, honey, by myself, I made $1 million worth of revenue for my company. That's by good. Myself. I built the entire team from scratch. And so I'm very proud of that. And so when this news came, it was around that time. And so it was almost like, if for anybody who's in corporate America, time is of the essence.
Right.
And when you're on that wave, you better ride it. I mean, it's not even about corporate America. It's about anything you do in your life. When you are on that wave and the wave is going into that favor before it comes back down to descend, you better take every opportunity you can to make sure that you are remembered. Okay. I was sitting in rooms with CEOs, with our partners. And that is an achievement for me because I don't got no degree. And let me tell you, you do not need a degree to be accomplished, okay?
Yes.
And so it was that battle of, I want a child? Do I sacrifice this moment and focus on becoming a mother because this chance may never come again? And I may be too old later and it just may never happen. Is that something
more
that
complicated
I'm okay?
later on?
Is that something I'm okay with? So I immediately got off birth control. And I was like, oh, we about to do this. This is what we doing. And so Angel and I, we tried for a little bit over a year. We were going on vacations. We were having fun. And every end of vacation, everyone was like, are you pregnant yet? Are you pregnant yet? And I was like, no, I'm not pregnant.
And I mean, I know those vacations, it's like be good.
Look, okay. And so
I love vacation.
What ended up happening was I just said, you know what? God, I'm going to let you take this wheel because it consumes you. People around you are having babies. People, are announcing their pregnancies. And unfortunately, you don't want to envy anybody, but it happens so naturally that you can't, it's something that you can't control.
Because that's what you want. And
right.
And I can feel you on that because there has been, I remember when at some point when I was married, we tried to. Child, it was not meant to be. Okay, God was like, girl, I love you,
You give me about 5 more years. You're going to see why.
Right. Yes. But no, I do believe that people that constantly, and that's another reason why social media sometimes can be a little, I wouldn't say toxic, but it can kind of like discourage you a little bit, right? Because you're seeing everybody, everybody's posting their highlight reels, like like the good things that's happening to them, and when you do want this and you feel like you can't have it, but I think everything is in God's timing, and I'm glad that you said that you let God handle it.
Oh yes.
Because the moment that we try to control the situation, or we feel like, nah, I'm gonna take care of it myself, and we forget that God exists, that's when you will struggle the most.
Okay. And
that's something that I've learned, like, just surrendering to God and just let, like, God, I'm gonna give this to you because I cannot do it myself right now. That's good. I'm really glad you did that.
And that, going to piggyback on what you're saying about, I'm gonna give this to you because I can't do this right now. That was the motto for my entire pregnancy. So when I found out I was pregnant, we're Honduran, right? We have our own beliefs, and so I believed, and I followed every tradition. By the way, I did not tell a soul. Like good. It was to myself, like, this child is the most sacred thing to me, and no one or anything is going to cause it harm. And so we kept it a secret. We told our parents, and about 4 months into my pregnancy, I announced it to a few family members. When I turned 5 months, I had a small gender reveal. It wasn't small. It was about 50 people there. Yeah. That's how big my family is. It's ridiculous. Right. And so at the time, my pregnancy was going smooth. We were looking out for things, but everything was going good. Baby was moving, was growing healthy. When I got about 6 months pregnant, my doctor noticed that my blood pressure was rising. And that's a concern as a Black woman. And so I'm glad that I have this platform to speak about this experience, because as Black women, we definitely have to be careful about our pregnancies. The statistics behind us carrying children, is crazy how some of us don't make it because we're not knowledgeable of the risk.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate.
That's why
and
I'm scared, child.
Well, I was.
That's why
too.
I said, listen, I need to, if I'm gonna go through this, it needs to be for the right man, because it is risky.
No,
yo.
it's risky. It's
scared
risky and scary. And I was scared. Like, anybody who's close to me can tell you, I was terrified. I never vocalized it, but I was terrified. Like, I am so scared of the hospital. I do not do. Look, I ain't here to die. Okay, I need to walk up out of here. And so the fear of, and people would come tell me, like, Genesis, don't be scared of pregnancy. It's a beautiful thing. Like, why are you so secretive about it? And it was something in me that was telling me, like, don't say nothing.
Just keep it to yourself. Yeah.
And Onyx knew, actually. She knew, because she knew when I was like 3 months pregnant, because I wanted to do an announcement photo shoot. And when I was ready to do it, unfortunately, things just took a turn. But thankfully, she kept it to herself.
Yeah. I didn't even know, child.
And so my blood pressure was rising. I was kind of upset about her about this, but that's another conversation for another day. She kind of was just like, take some baby aspirin, like, it will control it. Well, what ended up happening was my next ultrasound, they noticed that he was smaller than normal. So they were like, why is he smaller? So it's called, I forgot the terminology of the actual cause, but he was smaller than normal. So they was like, okay, well, come back next week. And so he still wasn't growing. So they decided to look at my placenta and in my umbilical cord, and they noticed that the blood flow from the the blood flow from the cord to the placenta. You're right. The placenta to the cord was not flowing. It was not flowing the way that normal pregnancies flowed. So instead of it flowing like a river, like continuous, it was flowing like spouts, like like that.
Interesting.
Right. And so, which means that he was not getting enough oxygen that he needed while he was in utero. Well, they were like, okay, Genesis, like, let's not have this concern. Just change your diet. Let's do a couple things. My mom, shout out to my mother. She's amazing. She was like, let's change your diet. Let's change, like, let's go walking every day. Like, let's make sure this baby's okay. And so,
that's crazy. That makes me emotional, because I'm just like,
no, and
that's not for the weak, like, not every, just go ahead.
And it gets just give it some time, because it keeps intensifying. So at this point, I'm going to the doctor 3 times a week. Shout out to my job and my boss for being so understanding about my situation, because at this moment they were like, you know what, Genesis, come to work, but don't stress yourself out, because this baby needs to be here on Earth side with us. Right. And so I was going to doctor 3 times a week. Angel, my husband, was amazing with that. He was with me every step of the way.
That's good.
And so they at some point they were like, okay, the blood flow is not flowing at all at this point. So we now need you to go to another specialist, to a high-risk doctor, because this is a problem. Like, we need to make sure we're monitoring this very closely. They made me do kick counts. Like, and what kick counts are is when you're counting the movements of your kid. So your child, whenever you experience this, they have a rhythm and they have a time frame. And they have their own personality from womb, okay? They do what they want to do at a certain time almost every day.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am. You would know the patterns of your kid.
Teach me something.
And so they were like, just do the kick counts and make sure he kicks to 10 times every day, at least an hour he's kicking you. So we're doing the x-rays. We're going to doctors. I was seeing 3 different doctors at the same exact time. And so at this point, I'm now 7 months, and I go to the doctor, and the doctor is like, I need you to start bringing your hospital bag to the doctor with you. And I was like, okay.
How are you feel? Okay, so throughout this entire this is happening, right? How are you feeling? Were you? And I know you were scared,
right?
But besides that, what else was going through your mind when they're telling you all this news? I mean, it's your
honestly,
it's the first time mom. Like, I would be like panicking, but I think that God also gives you the strength to know how to.
Right.
Yeah.
My mother and my grandmother are my rock.
Yeah.
And I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because I think this is the first time I've actually spoke about it.
Oh. Well, thank you. Oh my God, girl, come on. I'm gonna have to wake up.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I just
can we get some
I think this is the first time I've spoken about it.
I just want to say thank you for doing it on here. doing it here.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm an advocate of women. And
Yeah.
so if my story, like you said, can help anybody,
Yeah.
this is what we're here for, right? So my mom and my grandmother in Iraq, they were like, Genesis, no te preocupes. Dios está contigo. We're going to be with you every step of the way. Like every appointment, every time, they were just like, you're going to be okay. So it was, I think that
That's fine.
I maneuver. Thank you. I think that I just became a hard stone. Because if I let myself feel the emotions, I was going to
be
unravel.
Yeah. You had to be strong for your baby, too.
And I had to be strong for my baby. And so, and I had to trust God, because the reality of when you have a kid is like, I'm so used to being in control of my life. Every moment, every decision, I'm in control of it. But when it comes to pregnancy, you have no control. You
don't.
You don't know what's going to happen left or right. And so I had to, my faith was tested. So a week later, I'm doing my kick counts, right? And then it's 3:00 in the morning and this baby is not moving. I'm like, Angel, let's go to the hospital. He's like, you sure? I done drunk orange juice. I did cartwheels. I am doing jumping jacks. This baby is not moving. Get me to the hospital now. So we go to the hospital. They took about like an hour to get him to move.
Okay.
And they decided to keep me in the hospital. They was like, let's just keep you. Let's just make sure everything's good. And I was like, okay, well, fine. I'll make it to my baby shower. My baby shower was in a few more weeks after that. I was like, let's just make it to the baby shower. That's all that matters. Let's just, I could be in the hospital after. I don't care.
Right.
That didn't happen. A week later, I was at work. I was the most nicest person during my pregnancy. Beautiful soul, because they say your baby feels what you feel. So I was like, nah, nobody gonna make me get mad, because my baby not gonna be ugly. Like I was focused on me, honey.
Okay, facts. I'm like, no.
And I was upset that day. I was like, why are y'all here? I manage a team. I'm like, you guys just don't understand. I was so frustrated. I'm like,
the hormones came out.
Right.
Child.
I'm like, this is not like me. And look at God, how he works. I've never had my blood pressure checked ever in life. I had a hair appointment and I had my nails done. If you know me, I'm all about me.
Right.
And so I was like, I need to go find a blood pressure machine. Like the word blood pressure just kept popping up in my head. I've never done that in my life. I drove to H-E-B,
That's crazy.
Kroger, Walmart. Nobody had a blood pressure machine. I finally went to Walgreens and they had a blood pressure machine. I checked my blood pressure.
It was
high as the sky.
Ooh,
it was 160 over 90.
Jesus.
And I called my husband. I called my mom. I said, I'm driving to the hospital. Yep. I was like, I got to go.
And
this is not bad.
To the hospital,
and I drove to the hospital. I was high risk. And so I'm in the hospital. I told the lady, I'm like, look, I was just here last week. You need to get me upstairs. This is a problem. Like something is wrong. And so the hospital, to be in the hospital, they took their time. And I was looking at the time and God was like, get up and tell them now. You can take your ass to the back. And I told her, I said, I've said this before. Give me the charge nurse now.
Yeah, because they do that.
I am high risk pregnancy. I was just here last week. I need to go to the back. She was like, yeah, come on. I'm so sorry you had to wait. Girl, my blood pressure got to 190 over 110.
Something could have happened to you.
I could have died.
You could have had a stroke or something.
Yes, this is
my
real.
Goodness.
And I was walking and everything. And so they prepped me for surgery. They put magnesium in me. They put steroids for the baby. And my mom got there before Angel did. And I can see in my mom's face that she was like, my goodness, my child.
Yeah.
But I think everyone had to keep a mellow mind for me.
Yeah.
Because it was like, if I crash, she'll crash. And so your village plays a big role into this, right?
Absolutely.
And so that was the end of it. I stayed in the hospital. The doctor walked in and was like, Miss Martinez, I don't know how long were you here
in the hospital?
Oh, a month.
Wow.
I was in the hospital for months.
Before he was born?
Before he was born.
Jesus.
Yes, and I was so sad. But let me tell you about them angels and how God worked. The nurses were my angels. Like my family did very good at making sure I was never by myself because they didn't want me to go through depression. But the few days I was by myself, the nurses could tell. And this one nurse, her name was Angie. She was like, "Are you okay, Miss Martinez?" And I just couldn't stop crying. I was like, "I can't believe I'm here. I just hate this." And she was like, "Let's go for a walk."
Aww.
And she's like, "Let's grab a robe." Because, when you're there for a month, like, the room is your house at this point.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Let's go walk." And she created like this beautiful map of the hospital for me to just be able to go by the park and just, and I was so grateful for her for that because I think I just needed that in that moment.
Yeah, because you in this 4-wall room like for a whole month. I like to be outside. I don't know. Hey,
yeah,
get me out of here now. Like,
yes,
man, that's so crazy.
Yes. And my family, they, you know, I had a conversation with one of Angel's family members, and I called and I said, hey, everybody's worried about me. Call my husband. He's my rock, but I can't be his in this moment.
Fact that you
so
said
I need somebody to
yeah.
have his back.
Yes.
Call him.
Yes.
Go to the house. Like, take him out of the house. Like, he don't need to be in his hospital with me 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, the doctor's going to take care of me and my kid. Like, somebody needs to take care of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she told me, she was like, why are you worried about him? I said, that's my husband.
What?
Yes.
Who asked you that?
I won't say.
Okay. Oh, it's a family member. Child.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Child, because you know you run for that. If you're watching this.
They asked me, they was like, what? You need to be worried about you and your kid. I'm like, no, that's my husband.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? That is my husband.
You know what's crazy though? I think that's a big problem in our community too. We forget about men. I was just telling my friend this. I think I was telling Onyx this the other day. Men don't really have a community. We do. We can find a tribe, you know, we can find people, friends, community of free resources and stuff like that, right? But a lot of times we forget about our men. And they do need that. They need somebody, they need to feel cared for. They need to feel, and I'm glad that you said that. That says a lot about you as a wife, right? Because I would have done the same thing. Hey, I need to show my man is good.
Yeah. Because think about it. Like, his wife and his child is in the hospital.
Yes.
And they both can die. That's the reality. No one said it out loud. But I know we were all thinking the same thing. This can go very, very, left
bad
for one or the other or both. And so you have to think, like, this man has to go to work and survive and still hold his household and still have to come to the hospital, spend time with me. He wasn't even sleeping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, go take him out. Take him to the bar. Take him to go do something. Have a drink. Sit down and call him. Yeah. Like, don't talk about this. Just talk about how he's doing and how he's feeling.
Get him out of Man, that's insane. First, I want to say thank you for wanting to be so open and transparent. People always tell me that I make them feel comfortable to talk. I don't know if that's the case here. But,
oh my goodness.
No, but I do feel honored for that because, you know, every person that comes and sit here next to me and I have a conversation with, they're handpicked. I don't just bring here anybody. You know, if I feel like you're gonna have a story or some type of like, for the people that are watching, I need them to you know, to gain something out of spending that time to watch an hour 45 minutes episode. You know what I'm saying, of us talking about something. So thank you for that. I'm so glad that you were able to make it. You and your baby. He's the cutest thing. He looks like a happy baby. He looks like, I kind of feel like he looks like, it's a blend. It's a blend of both of y'all. It's crazy because he does look like you. Child, I can't believe you're a whole mother. I don't know when I'm gonna say that, child. I'm not.
Oh, take your time, honey.
My mom, no, and let me tell you something about me. My mom she makes fun of me because she's like, girl, I don't know when you're gonna have kids. And I be like, girl, just give me to like 29, 30. I'm about to be 28 and I still don't even think about having kids. But when that time comes, I do want to make sure that I have kids with the right man, with a great father. I'm big on that. You know, like I'm very big on fatherhood. And I want a great father to my child. I don't want my child to go through what I went through with my father. So I need to make sure that even if we don't work out, that you're going to still be a great father to you. That's it. I don't care about, it ain't about me at this point. When, you know, when a kid comes into this world, you got to make sure that you pick the right, you know, parent for that child. We're not perfect, but you know, this thing called life is a roller coaster sometimes. Sometimes you think you know what you're doing. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing. It's just, you know, God has a funny way of teaching you lessons sometimes. And, but it's funny how to talk about the ins and outs of marriage, right? What are your thoughts on or what do you think are the pros of getting married young or young marriage, right? I'll talk about the cons because, you know, I'm a pro at the cons, but I'll let you talk about the pros.
The pros, I think, is you literally are growing with somebody. Yeah. Like, my husband was with me when I graduated high school. He was my prom date. Right. He has seen me accomplish and lose and win and battle and be there through every season of my life. Yeah. Like, you have someone to say, like, I understand what you're going through because I was there. Right. And sometimes what happens when you meet someone later on in life is that y'all don't understand each other because you guys had two different walks of life, which is not a bad thing. Right. I mean, that's life, right? But sometimes that becomes an issue because you don't understand each other. You can't understand each other.
It can be a challenge trying to understand somebody else.
Right.
That has already experienced. I get what you're saying.
Right. I think another pro is growth, like the financial portion of it. Like me and Angel first date, honey. Child, we ain't had no money.
Yeah.
Let me just say that.
Yeah.
And to say that we built together, like what we've built, is an honor.
Yeah.
Because we have had our highs, we've had our lows, but we can look back and be like, damn, girl, we was eating noodles and we was eating chopped cheese and
chopped cheese. Where about?
He was making them.
Oh, all right. I'm finna say where you getting chopped cheese here? Because I'm gonna go there.
We was eating sandwiches. I can't tell you the last time I made a sandwich. And so it's just a growth overall.
That's good. That's good. I think I do love that. That's a good way of looking at it too. I do believe that growing with somebody is amazing. For me, I'll tell you about the cons, right? And the reason why I also say this is because we have gone through two different experiences. You are currently married. I'm a divorced woman, and I say it proudly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like it is very important for women to experience life before you get married. I didn't get to do that. Well, now I am living life. I mean, what? Girl, what? I live my life that I don't even want to. It has gotten a little bit, I become a little bit more selfish with I wouldn't say selfish, but
no, selfish.
I love me. I love living my life.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
You know? Don't get me wrong. I love my man.
As you should.
I love him. He's great. But at the same time, I think that I'm glad I took time for myself before I met him, and we, but I think it is very important for women to just experience life. Sometimes for me, growing up, getting married at 19 years old, I didn't know myself, Some people are lucky enough to find somebody that want to grow with them, right? Sometimes when you meet somebody, in this case, this man was older than me. I was still 19. We were not really growing at the same pace. That was a problem. Right? Because sometimes not everybody's going to come with you and grow with you.
Right.
Because they might not want to grow it. I mean, some people they really be stuck in their ways. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to grow with them, they're not ready for that growth. So, but I think it's very important for you to get to know yourself before you get married, live your life, experience, because once you say I do, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. You're supposed to, the goal is to be here forever until we're supposed to die together. Okay. That means I'm gonna just have sex with you for the rest of my life.
Right. And I gotta, yeah.
And I'm sorry, I had to experience life. So, man, this is a good conversation.
No, I'm glad I'm here.
Alec, are we good on time? Okay. We sure? Okay. But yeah, so I'm really glad that we're having this conversation right now. I think that a lot of people that just heard your story will get or feel something out of it. I'm pretty sure some of y'all are crying, or y'all cried when y'all was talking. And I don't know. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of your growth. I'm proud of the woman that you are today. For those of you who did not know, Genesis and I were really, really close friends back when we first met. And man,
it was a hot mess.
It was we were doing a lot of crazy stuff. We used to. Genesis was more. I wouldn't say you probably had more freedom than I had at the time. My parents were a little child. My dad was petty, and I just love how free I can be on this mic. Like, he was petty, and he wouldn't let me go out. He would be like, "Nah, I don't want you to go to the movie. Who you going with the movies with? I don't got no money. Man, you got $20. Give me $20 so I can go to the movies with my friend." And so, yeah, I would be like, "Yo, call your mom so she can come pick me up and go to your house and spend the weekend over there." Shout out to Martha, because she would come pick me up. She'll come pick me up. But we just had a lot of memories, and in the midst of that, a lot of crazy shit happened between you and I too. But I'm just glad that we are adults now and we're able to have a conversation, sit here, talk about life, and it's beautiful, man. I really appreciate, and I'm a person that I don't. How can I say this? I've learned to look at life from a different perspective, from different lens than when I was younger. So I'm thankful for the growth. Amen. God is good. but also just appreciating and understanding that everybody has their own journey in life, right? And that you're not entitled to anybody's life, time, money, anything.
Right.
You know, everything is about alignment. And you know, I'm just really happy that you're here and that we're having this conversation here.
No, I'm glad.
So, guys, well, we have to rate the wine before we close you know, out. So, I don't know. I don't think you really sipped.
No, I did sip.
You sure? Because I didn't really.
Like we're toe and toe.
Okay.
What's she talking about? Oh, you want to go? Okay, let's see if I can. Let me see. Hold on.
Girl, don't play. You know you be. Girl, don't be playing with me. I was gonna say something real bad, but
say it. What you said? She glad that she's on this show because she can say what she wants.
You're right, but no, I gotta. Sometimes somebody told me the other day. So somebody called somebody close to me and told them that, oh, you know, I don't like her show because she be cussing and she be saying some things. I said, listen, this show is not for kids. If you're with your kids, do not watch this. Because sometimes I'm going to cuss and sometimes I'm going to say some things that it's not appropriate. Right. It's only for adults.
Right.
But also my nephew, my niece and my nephew, they're my biggest fans. Like, they love me so much. They be watching my stuff, so I have to be careful because just for them.
Right. But nobody else.
F everybody else.
Right.
But my niece and my nephew, I love them. They my babies. So, but what do you think about the wine? How was it?
I like it.
How did it make you feel?
Very good. I'm typically a red drinker.
Me too.
But this, I'll give it an 8. It was good.
That's good. That's a good rating. Yeah, I give it an 8 too. I love Pinot though. Whenever I feel, some days I feel like white, some days I feel like red. But for the most part, I do love dry wine. As long as it's dry, girl, give it to me. So thank you so much for coming. Tell everybody where you want them to find you at, if you want them to connect with you.
I don't think we mentioned this, but I don't think I mentioned this. Wow. I'm also an event planner on the side. I have planned several weddings, including my own. And so you guys want to contact me for any event plannings. It's called the luxuriousexperience.htx on Instagram. You can follow me there, or you can follow me on my personal page and follow the journey of motherhood and corporate life, as well as wifehood at Genesis Evans _.
Girl, you gotta change that ad name, honey, because you're not Evans no more.
Well, no, you know, me and Angel had this problem too.
Oh, see, look at me being messy. I'm just playing though, but I mean, yeah. No.
I've always been an Evans, and I have done my biggest accomplishments as an Evans. Okay, so that's gonna be my stage name.
I feel you. Okay, I like that. I like that. Rep that last name. All right, y'all. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you, Genesis, for stopping by. Make sure you guys connect with her, and I will see you on the next episode. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram, you know. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
I love the smile in your face. I know that you got what it takes. Plus you working, ain't no breaks, yeah. You got that vibe, mama, you already know, yeah. This is the Darling Talk Show. Yeah, 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 yeah.